Camera's on.
Camera's on. 3, 2, 1, action.
Hi.
You guys, welcome back.
Welcome back to the Saucy Sips podcast, where I'm your host, Nicodemus.
And I'm Francesca. I was just telling Nick, I was like, it's so great. I'm not even nervous for ours. And then, of course, it takes me like 3 hits of the puffer, 3 sips of tequila to because I get nervous, which.
Why?
No, I don't know. Well, I was saying I wasn't because we've been doing like 4 to 5 podcasts a week, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
But I think it's still the cameras are on. It's still a little bit uh-oh, what am I going to say?
What could possibly get me sued?
Literally. Actually, side note, I had the nicest. One of our friends asked if we were going to this networking event Thursday. And they were like, oh my God, I saw you're getting sued. I'm so sorry. And I was like, I'm actually at a point where I'm manifesting it disappearing. So I was like, thank you so much. But I'm in a great headspace.
Your Honor, I've manifested a different outcome than this. So the jury's wrong.
And Mom, because we got to mention you within the first 30 seconds. Don't yell at me about a puffer. I made a conscious decision to get one for the weekend. And then I'm throwing it away after tonight. Because we can't go back down that road. Vaping? No, that's in my past.
No.
That was a fun weekend, but it is carried over into Tuesday.
I saw a meme that was and I know we talk about vaping and smoking a lot, but it was whenever you see a pretty girl smoking a vape, it's girl, you need a cigarette.
It's gross.
Yeah.
I think cigarettes are cool, except also harmful, which we also quit. But I knew we were just going to have a long, saucy weekend. And I also hate borrowing people's things.
Right.
I'd rather just have one.
No, of course.
And you know
it's
how
the
many
smart thing to do.
You know how many people I gave it out to? So many people were like, can I get it again? Do you mind? Can I? And I was no. This isn't for me. This is for the community.
One of the first couple music festivals I went to, I didn't smoke cigarettes until I really went to China. But it was a few years before that, I went to a music festival and I bought a pack of cigarettes to give out.
Yeah.
And I think I smoked 1 or 2 the whole weekend, and I had 2 packs, and it was great. People were like, do you have a cigarette? I'm like, yeah, but I don't have a lighter.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's make other friends too.
Uh-huh.
No,
yeah.
Honestly, I felt like it was a public service.
Mm-hmm.
Me having this weekend,
okay.
And since I hate to be the one borrowing it, and because I don't want to be sucking on it, it's oh, please take it out of my hand for 4 minutes. I'm they're oh, here, they'll take 1 puff and give it back. I'm you literally just you can give it back to me later. Ow.
You can have it for a little bit. I'm not glued to mine.
Yeah, because I literally, it's please take it away so I don't suck on it for 3 seconds.
Yeah. Zah, calm down over there.
I know, Zaz.
I think she's in the shot, but I'm not sure.
Just start with our saucy weekend.
Yeah. Well, I want to start with the guests, actually.
Okay.
The fact that we've been having so many guests on.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you guys have noticed that we've just been having a lot more guests on. And honestly, Francesca and I didn't feel stagnant about the podcast. We just kind of wanted to get more people on, kind of experiment with ideas. And we know so many cool people in Denver. It's why don't we just have people on and have them talk about things? Because obviously we don't mind talking about ourselves a lot, but it's nice just to have people come on and say what they do.
Well, I think our goal in life would be if we just had a comedy entertainment podcast where we talked about our lives and just had our friends on and not worrying about who's what and doing what, but kind of more on us. But we're not fully famous yet. And but I do think our superpower is cool friends.
Yeah.
We literally just accidentally meet the coolest people
all the time.
We are why wouldn't we just tap into them, their networks, and have them come and talk about the cool things they have going on.
Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people have told me that they really like episodes with guests, and they'll be oh my God, I love that episode. Then other people are oh, I really want to listen to the one with you guys, and which I understand. That's why we want to have a lot of episodes, just because you don't have to listen to every single one, even though you probably should. But
it's just different content.
Yeah,
we're at a point now, with pushing the podcast, that it's we want to be podcasting full time. We're ready for this push. So we've been doing 4 to 5 podcasts a week, and I'm cool with that workflow.
I love it. I love just being
if that's all we did, but it's I would just be the happiest person in the world. But it's also we have our new series, Saucy Sips, that
Shout
just
out
launched.
Saucy Sips.
Yeah, it's we're not a hospitality podcast, but we are obsessed with food and beverage. So let's make it saucy. Interview not just people who are so good in the hospitality industry and giving back. Ours isn't so much of an educational podcast, But it's like, let's talk about cool fucking spots that you want to go eat at, why they're cool, or like why you should drink from their brewery or their distillery and have fun with it. But that's why we separated it out for you guys. So obviously, you know, the ones that are just us, you know, the ones with our friends, and then you know the ones that are like food and bev focused, if you will.
Drink focused, having drinks.
Literally.
Yeah. Because we've always thought of this podcast sort of as like a happy hour anyway, like catching up with your friends. And so it's like Saucy Sips is like, we're taking you to the bar. We're taking you to the restaurant, to the brewery. Come along.
Yeah. And we'll do kind of little like background vloggies with them.
Yeah. We're going to bring more of that.
What are we drinking today?
Today, I'm just drinking some gin because actually one of our Saucy Sips that isn't out yet, Mile High Spirits, he just sent me home, Chase, shout out Chase. He sent me home with a case of gin. I'm talking like, it was a lot, like enough for me to be like, I had guests over and I was like, do you guys want some gin on your way out? Like, here you go. Have a whole bottle of gin.
A case. So Chase with the case of gin.
Chase with the case. Yeah.
And you were laughing because the back of their gin bottle says Ginny Gin Gin.
It says Ginny Gin Gin Gin. And I always say that. And I was like, Chase, I feel like
No, it's actually the perfect partnership. So hopefully we'll have
audience.
some new sponsored stuff with them. And then also we're thinking of throwing some saucy like parties.
Little saucy parties.
At Mile High Spirits with our past guests, Maddie and Corey, and then with Sarah from All Rebellious. We're going to see if we can. We've thrown saucy parties and we're so good at it. But like, do you guys know how like labor intensive
oh my God.
events are?
I think that honestly, you and I are perfect. I just have like all the skills for like hosting parties, throwing parties, planning and organizing. But like, I hate the setup and I hate like the breakdown. I hate just, I hope it all goes well. And then like when you're in the moment of doing it, it is kind of like hard to do. That's why I don't want it to be my career. But if we do a couple parties throughout the year, perfect.
That's what I would love. Well, also like, I feel like if you're a full-time event planner, like one of my roommates in college went to college for event planning. It is a very organization intensive like profession. I'm not the most organized girl I know.
Yeah. No.
So like I did it well, but it was like, okay, like spreadsheets and this, like I like it, but I wouldn't love to hire someone else to do it.
What are you drinking?
Oh, I'm just drinking a little, actually, Mi Campo tequila.
Mi Campo?
Yeah. Why did we choose that?
It's just a really good tequila and it's additive free. It's the Well Tequila Occidental, our favorite bar in Denver. Yeah.
That's why we did it, because it was cheaper than a lot of like the ones we normally drink, but we knew that it was still additive free. So
what's also kind of interesting about it is if you look at the color, I think it's a Blanco, but it's kind of has like a little darkness to it. It's almost like
same.
It's almost like 90% Blanco, like 10% Repo. Like it just has just like a touch.
That's interesting.
If you drink it straight. Yeah.
Could you imagine? Because obviously where I think Saucy Sips is going to take us is like touring distilleries and whatever.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
The thing is though, when you're with those type of people, like at distilleries, like the amount that they drink and when you try to like keep up, it's like, I'm just saying like how saucy would I get at a tequila tasting?
Oh, yeah.
Like would I take my shirt off?
Probably. Like if we went to Mexico at like a...
Yeah.
No, I could see that. Like, I think I would be a drunk if I was a distiller. Like, I would just be like, oh, well, I gotta try it.
I think the good ones are.
Yeah. I mean,
you never trust a skinny chef.
Yeah.
Never trust a
sober distiller?
That's what I'm saying.
No, yeah.
Like,
I mean, that might be like a little harmful of a sentiment, but all the distillers I've met were a lot of fun, so...
Yeah, the distiller of Mile High Spirits. We had a great time with them. Tyler.
What's his name? Tyler? Yeah.
Okay, well, where do we start with this weekend?
This weekend, Zodiac. Like, we have just been working on the weekends, which is really fun. I've been doing bottle service.
Yeah, Nick is. So it's so funny because, like, I've always been, like, the bartender of, like, our pair. Like, I don't know why I feel like we're a contracted pair, but it sort of ends up that way sometimes. But I'm definitely, I was classically trained as a bartender. You not so much.
Yeah, no. I've never made like fancy cocktails.
But now you've been working bottle service and I've never worked bottle service.
Guys, bottle service is crazy. It's just a whole world that I've never really existed in.
Yeah, because also I used to live in New York and go to tables all the time. You never did that. Like
no. Well, I did a lot of tables in China, but it's a bit different. It's just weirder. It's not as like it's high key, but it's not as cool. You know,
okay.
Chinese culture isn't really, unless you're like in Beijing or Shanghai or like Macau or something, they're not really like, they don't have to do
Yeah.
it
I guess
totally.
it does
Yeah.
seem very American or maybe European because
It's
Ibiza
Western.
And
It's totally Western.
can I retract how I just said Ibiza because I'm embarrassed?
Oh.
Ibiza. We live in America. I hate people that say, I mean, I like it's the correct pronunciation, but it's so pretentious and I'm not that pretentious.
I don't give a how to correctly pronounce something.
Well,
you
it's
know?
like Shanghai in America.
It's Shanghai.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
But sometimes when you say certain things like that, it's so like, oh, okay, we get it.
Mm-hmm.
If I was fluent in French and I said croissant,
Yeah.
croissant,
I don't know how to say it. Croissant. Croissant.
croissant.
There's
See,
like a
I'm
W.
not, I speak some French, but I'm not fluent. So I don't, croissant.
But like,
But if I was like, Nick, can you pass me the croissant? You'd be like,
yeah,
Francesca, time out.
totally. And like, if people were to ever correct me on that, like, I'd be freaking out.
Like, if someone corrected me, like, it's not Ibiza, it's Ibiza, I'd be like,
Oh my God.
hold my hand just for a second.
Just, yeah, let me come to the corner. I want to come talk to you about something.
Okay, so you're a bottle bitch.
I'm a bottle bitch. Yeah.
So you have been following around the girls in lingerie, the hottest girls like in Denver.
Yeah.
And you've just been their little bitch.
Because like, I don't bring the bottles. I just like stand by them while the hot girls bring the bottles. But it's so funny. And they're just like these gorgeous girls. And it's a lot of schmoozing for sure. So it's like serving. It's more like serving than bartending. Although you do shake and pour like shots for people if you want.
Okay.
You got to like hang out and like be their best friend, but make sure they get everything they need from you. Like they don't need to be like sitting around waiting for something for like more ice or something like that.
So it's a lot of like anticipating needs.
Exactly. And I will say though that most of the time, actually, this is, and everyone in bottle service knows this. So I'm talking to the people that this applies to. When you buy a bottle, you get great service. However, and like if you boss that server around or the bottle girls, they'll probably do whatever you want. Except the person who buys the bottle is the nice one and like the polite one. It's their fucking friend who is just at the table, who didn't even buy the bottle, isn't going to tip. They're the fucking annoying one.
I could see that.
And they're the ones like, oh no, we need more ice. Can I get, and it's like, girl, do you even know the man?
I've only been that girl.
But not annoying.
Not that I'm like bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nick like just threatened to knock me out. No, obviously I've always worked in service.
Totally.
So like I'm not annoying, but I will say that like I have been the girl that's like, can we get more ice? Can we do this? Like, and so I get from their point because it's like usually like it's mostly a guy, not always, of course. That'd be ridiculous. But like usually it's like the table captain, the dude.
Yeah. It's like, you have a captain.
Yeah,
almost. Yeah,
always.
Yeah.
In serving, that's like what people call it in hospitality. There's a table captain. Like it's usually the dad or whomever, or it's the girl. I'm actually the table captain when I go out with my friends.
I've seen a lot of girls, like in a big party, it's like a woman to kind of be the captain of like, hey guys, we're ordering right now. Tell them what you want. You know, like, hey everyone, do you think we all know what we want?
Because when you want something, don't ask a woman.
I mean, honestly, like I get it. And like the oldest man might be like paying for the table, but he might be like drunk or just like confused or something.
Or just enjoying himself.
Yeah,
like he doesn't care if the other bitches at the table have ice for their drink.
Yeah, completely.
He might not be fully aware.
Mm-hmm. But I wasn't expecting this little chapter in my life.
I know.
And
we always have like lifestyle jokes.
Yeah. Right now, I could move to Vegas. You know what I mean? And just be your little
To be honest, I was thinking like at a table, when you're at a table where there's like the SAs, right? You're the server assistant.
Yeah, that's what I am.
So I feel like super hot girl, little gay server assistants makes sense in my head.
No, that's the correct order of things.
Like I wouldn't want, okay, because think of like like let's say if they asked me at Zodiac to do bottle service, like I'm not as hot as Sarah. I don't know if I would like to be following her around and what, like, it's like, I wouldn't be in charge. I wouldn't be like in her outfit. I feel like they don't care how hot you are. You're just there to like make sure you get them everything you need. So it's kind of like if you're going to like those girls who are bottle service girls, Vegas, Miami, Zodiac's bringing it to Denver. They're a certain like type of girl. Like they're fitness model. Hot.
Well, yeah. A lot of them are. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like that's they're full-time like bodybuilders and they do some like bottle service on the weekends.
Yeah.
But that's not my body. Like, you know what I mean? So I would look, I'm like, I wouldn't want to be, it's almost kind of like if you're that hot, you're going to be one of the table captains. It wouldn't really make sense to pay them as like an SA.
Completely. Yeah, so this is the order of things. Hot straight girl,
Yeah.
like fitness model straight girl, gay guy server assistant, okay, because you don't want a straight guy at the table.
Absolutely not.
Right,
That's
right,
not
right.
his place.
But then the security dudes are like the hot security guys, or a little
Hot,
sketchy.
straight, possibly like paramilitary.
They're all ex-military.
Yeah.
Sleeves, maybe a neck tattoo or two.
Actually, our security at Zodiac,
They're so hot.
they're hot and they're terrifying.
I agree completely. They're all like hot and a little sketchy.
Yeah, not
just like
sketchy.
not going to sell you drugs. Just kind of like, just a little.
But they look like they've been around the block.
Totally.
Like
they've been
know,
in street fights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they will punch you.
Or
in the
they've
face,
probably done like a tour in Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the other side of it is like we have like a lot of. I feel like all of ours are like, and I'm saying this as the biggest compliment. They're like First Nations, like they're native.
Native, yeah.
They're black or they're Mexican.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sorry, but like,
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, no one's gonna fuck with you at Zodiac.
Yeah.
Which is what the hot bottle girls need around them.
Completely, because like that's just like
there's no
everyone. Yeah. There's no tomfoolery. That's the safest. Like, but it is weird too in bottle service. Like, I feel like humanity sometimes we do get reduced to like beta fish, in the sense of like, or like aggressive baboons.
You told me you felt like you were doing shadow work in VIP.
Okay.
And I was like, this is.
You hear that?
I saw that. Okay, because we do a shared note for the podcast notes. And I just saw, I'm just doing, quote, shadow work in VIP. And I was like, can't wait to ask about this.
I didn't say that. What happened was I wrote that down, but I was telling people that like there can be a little bit of aggression and like who's who do you know here vibe, like how cool are you, how rich are you vibe in bottle service. And I was telling my friend Slade this, and I thought I was like being kind of deep, like, like a lot of darkness like comes out in humanity in bottle service. And then Slade goes, wow, Nick's doing shadow work over here in VIP. And I was just like, oh my God. I thought I was just I don't know, whatever.
Wait, but that's fucking funny.
It's so funny.
Slade's like a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, Slade he's so funny. And that's why I was like, yeah, he did get me. But anyway, that's my vibe right now, guys. So if you ever need, oh my God, I was drinking a Cristal.
No, so I work in like the lounge bar. I'm the only bartender. I chill in my little like lounge area. And then the club is next door. And then that's where all the bottle service is. That's where like the DJs are. And so Nick will like come over and like say hi, or he'll need ice or something from like my side of the kitchen. I was like, oh, like, how's your night? And he's like, honestly, I'm just like drinking Cristal behind the DJ booth. And I was like,
yeah,
you don't like champagne.
I don't like champagne. You heard it here first. I don't think champagne's that good. Like, I don't. Okay, and I'll tell you what, like, have I had nice champagne? Yes. And I think it all kind of.
No, you've had Dom, you've had Cristal, you've had
Moet.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, I haven't taken like a course or like gone to like a champagne tasting, but I will say, like, when I try Cristal versus Dom, it's kind of the same taste to me.
It's a different taste. And I will say, if we become like a food and bev focused podcast, or as we are becoming, I think that like we'll learn. I think it's an acquired taste, and maybe we just don't know because we didn't grow up on good champagne. But because I will say, when I hear people say that they can't tell the difference between a $5 bottle of wine and a $300 bottle of wine, like,
it's embarrassing.
It's fully embarrassing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I like hurt inside. I know they're being honest, and I'm not judging them because we've developed a palate for wine since we were 10 years old.
Right. But like, I mean.
But no, with champagne, I don't get it either. It kind of all tastes like feet.
A little bit, because it's a little stanky, which I like it. I mean, but I'll tell you, one time I was drinking Vouv, which isn't that expensive. And
but it's nice.
It's nice stuff. And I was drinking Vouv up in Aspen for our friend Vought's birthday. But before that, I was drinking a PBR. So I went from PBR to Vouv. And then the Vouv, I finished my cup. I went back to the PBR. I think I like PBR more than Vouv.
Yeah, that's an insane statement.
It's breadier. It's yeastier. Like it's less.
That's a personal.
It's just
preference.
as not sweet. People are like, oh, it's like dry. I'm like, yeah, so is PBR.
I will say, when I was in Miami with all my rich friends, like, we had like copious bottles of Vouv like constantly. And it was like a little sweet to me. I didn't, but if like any champagne company wanted to like fly us to like educate us and teach us,
I love champagne. Like, I think it's just the classiest, nicest.
No, I do. Same. No, I'm serious though.
Like, I'll never turn down, like, even like right now, just talking about it, I'm like, can someone bring in the bottle of Cristal? Like, let's try it. But like, I do like it. Like, I'm not saying I don't like champagne. I'm just
you want one glass.
It's so fucking expensive too, for like the really big stuff. And that's what I don't really understand about it, I guess.
I think that's just our lack of
my lack of bottle service knowledge.
Okay, so this weekend we had our manager from New York City, shout out Kyla, come in. She was visiting friends in Denver, but then she came in to meet us officially because we've only met over Zoom, and then to be on the podcast. And then so she was only in town for like 3-4 nights, but we snuck her for a podcast night and dinner. And then we stole her again for black coffee at Red Rocks. And then also one of the people from our Burning Man camp, shout out Frothville, James he's from Australia. He lives in Vancouver and he was here visiting friends for a wedding. And we stole him for black coffee too.
I don't know like how this all culminated, but it was just a magical like 4-day weekend.
No, it like truly one of like the best weekends I think we've ever had. Like meeting our manager and like, so Kyla, which we're going to have an episode with her come out soon. She only manages people who are like millions and above and are doing like huge things. She's at every influencer event. Like if it's at Coachella, she's like at Poosh and she's at Revolve and she's like doing all this stuff. And so we don't like directly pay her. She gets 20% of what she brings us. So of course, like working with big people, you want 20% of $50,000 to $100,000 contracts.
Yeah.
We're not at that level yet, but like she believes in us and is like coaching us and like helping us grow. But when she came on the podcast and like just talking with her all week, it was like, oh, like one, she really believes in us. And two, I think the way we live our lives and like people in our lives now, like we don't care if you're like the best manager in the world. We want people that we trust and we vibe with.
Yeah. Yeah. And she was just so cool. Like it was fun to like actually meet her and hang out. But I liked it because now I feel like we like trust each other.
Yeah, like, she feels like family.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. She said today, she was like, I feel like I knew you guys in another life. And like, we're not at this point in life, like gaining her anything. Like she doesn't need to blow smoke.
She's kind of doing us a favor.
100%.
And of course, why would she blow us smoke? She literally knows all the influencers in New York City and like LA. I mean, she's back and forth all the time. She's a bi-coastal girly. But like, yeah, like she doesn't need to tell us any of that. And so that was just like really like validating to hear. And now I feel like she trusts us more. So,
but like to hear it from a professional in the industry being like, I think you guys just aren't discovered yet. And I think like kind of what she was saying, like the commission she's going to get off us in the future. She's I know it's going to happen and we're going to get there.
I know, which is kind of like crazy to hear. And it was also fun. Like, obviously, like we like Denver and everything. Like we like Red Rocks. We like everything about it. But it was nice for her to come here, like from Brooklyn, to like experience it and be like, wait, I'm having so much fun. Like, I want to like, she didn't say this, but she was like, I want to like move to Denver, you know?
Well, she was like, if you guys want to do a house swap anytime.
Yeah.
And we're trying to go to New York City for a few weeks. And like, I mean, I feel like everybody would know this, but just in case you don't, like what a saying about New York City when you live there is like, you'll never know how many friends you have until you have an apartment in New York City.
Completely.
Because a room for a night is like $300 plus. So it's like, oh, you want to go there for 4 days? That's $1,200 just on lodging plus taxes, fees, whatever. Like $300 is cheap. And like cheap. And so to be able to be like, oh, you want to come hang in Denver with all your friends and we could just like swap, like that would be a godsend for us to be able to record. Yeah. And
she went for a hike and was like, oh, so nice. There's like space.
No, mom and dad did that for me. I was having like a mental breakdown, like 8 months into living in New York, one of my like third times living there. And because our parents are saints, I needed nature. So they flew me out to Denver. They drove with the dogs because I missed our dogs. met me in Denver, and then drove me up to the mountains, and we had like a mountain weekend.
Yeah.
And it was
I love
because
that.
like I felt like I hadn't breathed fresh air in 8 months. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't exist there.
That's really crazy.
No, so I just remember like hiking. We were just in Winter Park, and I was like, wow, like the air doesn't taste like exhaust, trash, and urine. And that was like a big deal for me.
I love exhaust, trash, and urine, but you know, you always need a break from it.
Yeah. Like it was just so. No, we had the best time for her. Like fully, I feel like soul connection. Like
Totally.
this is who we should be in business with.
Yeah.
And then James, who you didn't hang out with that much at Burning Man.
Well, not that I remember. He seemed like he remembered a lot about me, but no, James, you more hung out
I
with him.
remember because you were like, James who? And then when he saw you, he was like, Nick, and like gave you a big hug. And I was like in my head, I was like, I feel like they hung out when Nick was drunk.
But no, where? I really don't think we did. I think he just saw me kind of around.
There were a few nights where we were going to like Ego Tripped and like Octopus Garden, and they were like in the clan with us, but maybe you just like clocked him as like the group of
like
Aussies.
in the group. Yeah.
We were like hanging out with like a couple girls from Denver and then like a few Australian guys.
Yeah.
So
I just felt like him and I never had like a big like connection, you know?
Yeah.
But we did it. I mean, he's great. He's so fun and lovely. And I definitely like remembered him. I just like oh my God, Nick, there he is.
I was like, this is a very us thing.
I know.
We don't remember things we drink. If you're
don't.
new here,
I just don't remember things, you know?
no,
Mhm.
it's weird about us.
It's a weird disability.
But then, not to like out them.
Oh my God. Are you saying that?
They had a little connection. Our manager and our Aussie friend.
They had like a little kiss.
I haven't even. Yeah. There was a little kiss. I know nothing more because I don't want to ask him.
Yeah.
Because like I'm a girl's girl.
Oh, girl, 100%.
Well, I'm just gonna get the download from her. I'm not gonna ask him.
No, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't
hear
like
from her
his
for sure.
Yeah, but Kyla flew out on Sunday morning.
Sunday morning at 9 a.m.
Like her flight was at 9.
Yeah.
And she was staying like 45 minutes, an hour from the airport. And she had left us at like 3 a.m. at the club after Red Rocks. So like she didn't sleep and then went to a 3-day music festival for one of like her talent, like somebody else she manages. We haven't gotten the download yet.
It was also funny with her is like she's kind of like chronically online, but not in a bad way. Just like she works in like influencing. So every like obscure little like meme or joke that I would say, she always like clocked it and was always be like, oh yeah, that's so funny. I'm like, I forget she probably knows more about the internet than I do.
When I was managing influencers and like full time, like now we have like our own thing. So I'm chronically online too, but
same.
When I did it like as a profession, it was almost like my job to know the trends, the vibe, things going around.
Exactly.
So like you watch your TikTok like For You page like in a different lens.
Yeah.
So I understand like her life. Could you imagine if your manager didn't understand why you posted a certain thing because she didn't understand the trends because she's not on TikTok?
Yeah.
You can't have that.
Yeah, no. You have to know everything.
And she's the one that's going to suggest to like her talent, like, hey, like I've noticed this is a big trend. You should like go this way. So it's literally her job. So, but when she picked us up, the craziest thing had just happened. So the quarter, Nick.
Oh,
that's why I'm bringing it up. So it's on our list of like, I'm looking at our like Saucy Sips like shared note and it's the fucking quarter.
The fucking quarter. Yeah.
So I've been doing like a lot of abundance meditations and like just trying to manifest like money coming from places that I don't know where they would come from. Like, just I don't need to say, oh, it's going to come from sponsors for the pod and this, just money showing up and like fun, exciting. It's another thing my life coach has been saying. When you're trying to manifest things, manifest it. Always say, I want to manifest this in a joyfully and effortless way. Joyful and effortless. So like because of course you can, not that your manifestations would like kill your family, obviously, but at the same time, like you can manifest a lot of money if like someone in your family dies, but like you don't obviously want that. You want it to manifest it joyfully and effortlessly. So it just coming in like the funniest, silliest way. So I've been like really concentrating on that in my meditations. And we woke up the other day.
Well, I saw a quarter and it was just sitting on the countertop or the island. And I was looking at it and I was like the vibe was off with this quarter. Something was different. And like I saw it and I was just like,
in the quarters these days have a lot of different fronts and backs. So it wasn't that, but like it was like you were saying uncanny valley.
Like the uncanny valley when like something is just like just enough similar that it looks the same, but it's just a bit off to where it kind of gives you like the fuck. Is something weird with this quarter?
Was it me that noticed or you that noticed?
I noticed.
Yeah, you handed it to me. You were like, is something fucking off with this quarter? And I held it and it felt like too light to be, it felt like a counterfeit quarter.
Yeah.
And I was like, who's out here counterfeiting quarters?
I know. Which, right? I mean, that doesn't
no,
make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
So I was just kind of like, I don't know like what this is. And then you Googled it.
Yeah, I was like, we got to know. Like, this is weird. Like, why?
Yeah.
I feel like we do go to like costume stores or like I have a fake $100 bill on the fridge.
Right.
Like, we're around people who have like fake stuff, but I was like, we don't know anyone who would need a fake quarter. Like, it just didn't make sense. So I was like, I'm Googling this. And it says instead of in God we trust, it says in COD we trust. And I was like, so I typed it in and looked up the picture. I was like, 2023 Liberty quarter. Let me tell you guys, there's a few eBay listings for this quarter. It's an error, like an ERROR, like a mess up, like an error
like
coin.
a misprint. Yeah.
From the Denver Mint.
Which we live in Denver.
And it has like, there's like some bubbles. It says in COD we trust instead of in God. And it has this weird back with all, I don't know. It explained it all. And as I was looking at these eBay things, there was 3 main ones. There's 3 of them. One of them has the quarter listed for $1,800.
$1,800 for this quarter.
And one has it for $1,600. And then another one for like $1,000. And those are the only listings on the internet. And it's like capital R, like rare, misprint, uncirculated. Like, notice the bubbles here and the difference here. Like, this was like a mess up quarter that's like a staple now in anyone's like coin collection.
And to that, I say, what the hell? And I don't even know like why I was staring at the quarter like that, but something was off. Like something was off.
No, the vibe was off.
The vibe was off.
So like,
it's not the vibe.
Our next month's rent may be paid with like this fake quarter.
So we listed the quarter. You listed the quarter on eBay.
I only listed it for $888. So I wanted to be less than all the other ones.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not whatever, but it's like, hey, you're getting a deal.
Yeah, because the price variation for like $1,000 to $1,800, it just seemed weird to me. But I don't know.
No, I was like, this is the sauciest thing I've ever heard. Like, remember that time I paid our rent with like becoming a rare coin collector seller? Like, that's...
You should get into coins.
It's the stupidest, silliest thing I've ever heard.
I know. I just like really hope something, like I hope it sells. And I am going to tell this story to every single person I've ever met for the rest of my life.
But like but to be specifically like trying to manifest silly money and then like find a quarter that's going to pay your rent.
I know. I have a weird relationship with quarters, honestly, because like I lived in a house that what? I kind of like...
It's such a you thing. Oh, you have a weird relationship with quarters?
Weird relationship with quarters.
You know, I learn something new about you every day.
I like... Okay, do you guys remember in 2020 when like we went through a coin shortage? People like couldn't get quarters.
Did you ever collect quarters?
No, but you and Max did, and I tried.
I feel like
but
the millennials, it was like they came out with a quarter for each state. And so I had a map in my bedroom and the quarters would press into it and you would try to collect a quarter for me. Almost like the Monopoly game from McDonald's.
Totally. I feel like you and Max were into it, and like that's kind of why I felt like I should get into it. Like I felt like I was being gaslit by my older siblings, like this is something cool to do. And then I realized that like I don't give a shit about these like quarters. Although, fun fact, okay. So in 2020, so like they started doing like national park coins. Okay.
And this is why you have a weird relationship with them?
No.
We haven't even gotten to that.
No, we haven't gotten to like my weird relationship with quarters. Okay. In 2020, they were doing the national park of American Samoa, and it had a picture of a bat on it. Okay. I'll post a video for the people talking. And it's a mama bat with her baby bat. But 2020 coronavirus was spread by bats.
Well, we live in a simulation.
It's a simulation. No, I'll tell you, like, I've always felt like quarters are the weirdest amount of money. And it's like, I've just never really loved the quarter, you know, because it's like a nice, good sized coin and it doesn't really like get you anywhere, but it could if you have enough. And it's not enough to not be anything. Like, it's still worth something. But it's like also not enough to like really matter. That being said, in 2020, we went through the coins shortage, so it was hard to get quarters. People were running out of quarters, and I could only do my laundry in quarters. Okay, so a quarter at that point in my life, a quarter was worth at least $1.25 to me.
No, and we needed where we were living, we needed like $8 in quarters to do like a load of laundry.
I know. And like you would go to banks and be like, can I get a whole thing of quarters? And they would say no.
Wait, I blocked that out.
And so like I've always sort of hated quarters because they're not worth enough money to me. But then the only way I can clean my clothes is with fucking quarters. So every time I would see a quarter, I would like reluctantly be like, can I have that quarter? And they're like, really? Like, yeah, I just like collect quarters. Like I can't get quarters. And they're like, oh yeah, sure. I'm like, I can give you like, they're like, no, you can have it. I'm like, okay, cool. Thanks. Because like, I'm going to need.
Because most people didn't need quarters to do their laundry.
Literally.
Okay, that's so funny.
Anyway, that's my relationship with quarters, okay?
Yeah.
Also, the fact that it's called a quarter.
Because it's a fourth of a dollar.
Because it's a fourth, but like, it's like, the dime isn't called a tenth, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
Dime piece.
Dime piece, yeah. Oh, here's my 100th.
I could keep going on this rant, but we can't. With our magical, wonderful, amazing weekend, something that happened last weekend was, and you guys know I've been working with a dating coach. I've been really manifesting. I've been writing what I want. I met someone last weekend that I was like so excited about.
Yeah.
We hung out one night, just hung out with him and his friends, took separate Ubers home. Then the next night, him and his friends like found where I was going to be. Hung out all night, went back with him and his friends to his house, hung out for a while. And then when his friend left, I'm giving you guys like the high level. I like looked at him and was like, I can also just take an Uber, like when his Uber comes. And he was like, or you just like stay. And I was like, that's fine. But like, I'm not going to hook up with you. Cause yeah, I just met you. We don't know each other. We've never been on a date. I'm not like hooking up with you at like 6 a.m. Cause 6 a.m. sounds insane, but when you know that like the club we work out is open till 5, it's not that late. It's warping our brains. It's late. It's absurd, but just know that all of our friends are there in full form till 5.
Yeah.
So to go back with someone and then it'd be 6 it's not that silly. But we've really got to reel it in because our fitness journey is declining because of this lifestyle. So I was like, yeah, like I'm down to like hang out. Not that I've never in my life hooked up with someone randomly, but not someone I'm interested in. And I'm just not at that point in my life anymore. Like I've done it once or twice. I'm 34, let's be honest. And I was like, okay, like I'll stay. And we like hung out all night or like all morning, like talked. It was just someone that like we were aligning on kind of everything. Not that it was serious. It was not love bombing. I've been in those before. Where people are like, oh my God, we're perfect for each other, blah, blah, blah. Not that.
It seemed like a really normal, natural connection.
Yeah, it was very like chill. It was like, yeah, we like cuddled and like talked, but like a very much like everything I would say, he would be like, wait, like same. And everything he would say, I'd be like, wait, same. And so we kind of had this joke that like every time one of us would say something, like as we're getting to know each other, that like we were like, okay, like I don't want to say same because this sounds annoying and fake, but like holy shit, same. And so it was just exciting. And then on Sunday, 2 weekends ago, he was like, hey, like, when can I see you again? Like, I really want to meet Za, which you guys all know is my dog because I met his dog when I was over. And obviously, I talked about my dog because I live in Colorado and that's who I am. And so, like, I was just, I don't know, like, just very excited that I could have met someone with the potential for dating. Not planning anything, just big potential. Like, oh shit. And we talked about this on the episode with Kyla because right before her episode, he canceled the date an hour before. Not a cancelable offense. Absolutely not. Things happen.
But like, it's so weird to me to like cancel a date 2 hours before.
Yeah. It was an hour and a half. So we're in that. It was exactly an hour and a half.
Oh,
before.
An hour and a half.
So,
but it's like, it's just the whole thing is weird because like, I feel like if it's something that is really important in an emergency, it's an emergency. Like I just lost a leg. I can't make it. Or if it's like, hey, I'm getting sick or whatever, like you would know more than an hour and a half before.
Or like you had a really busy week. So he had asked me Wednesday night. Mm-hmm. Date was Thursday night.
Yeah.
So he had just made the plans. It wasn't like he didn't know what his week was like. And hey, we made the plans on Sunday, but like this week has turned out sort of awful. And like, I'm just not feeling it. And I'd like to be in like good form. Great. But like for the date to have been made like 24 hours before.
Yeah.
And then to cancel. And I was like, I'm still like so excited about it. So I was just like, hey, like, he was like, hey, would you hate me if I canceled? The normal stuff that we get from men, like, hey, like work's just been really busy, like blah, blah, blah. I'm just like really trying to take it easy. And I was like, hey, like I won't hate you. But you'll just have to make it up to me, wink face. Excellent text back, if I do say so myself.
Yeah. Good
Chill,
job,
normal, whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't even bother responding.
I mean, that's what's insane to me.
Not just like, thank you so much for understanding. I'd love to go out next week. Nothing. So I was just kind of like, meh. It just like put me in a weird mood with our podcast and then going out with Kyla. Cause also he did know that I was rescheduling a dinner. So our manager had flown in that night.
Yeah.
First time I met her, she came on the podcast and he knew I was supposed to do dinner with her. But I was like, yeah, if like you think you can compete, like I'd love to meet up with you. So a day before, he knew that I was like putting her off to meet up with him. So maybe I was too available. That's what Marina said, who is my dating coach. She was like, don't you ever reschedule something important to you for like a man again. And I was like, fuck.
That's so real.
Yeah. So my fault, my bad. But I just didn't like that he didn't respond. And then he has his read receipts on. So he read it an hour later. No response. And then in the morning, he decided to like my message, just being like, oh, like, I guess thanks for understanding, but just a like, not like, hey, I'd love to reschedule, nothing, whatever. So then he knew where I was going to be at the Red Rock show on Saturday and knew that the club that we work at, the club that our friends own, he knew that I would be there. So then he messaged me Saturday morning and was like, hi, like, looking forward to seeing you like at Black Coffee tonight, like smiley face. Like you're going to Black Coffee, like right or something like that. Yeah. And I just responded like, I'll be there. And then like at Black Coffee, he was like, hey, where are you? You're not trying to find me. You're whatever. And then again was like Zodiac after ? No response from me. Cause like, I feel like if you're gonna ditch me for a one-on-one date, you don't just get me when you know where you're going to find me at my friend's club.
Yeah. Like one, when it's convenient, most convenient for you.
The most convenient. He's already there.
But also like, oh, well, I'll see you Saturday, so it doesn't matter. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then.
That shit I don't like.
That's what I'm saying. But again, not a cancelable offense. Fine. Then I was at Zodiac and he came up to me and
I ignored him the entire night.
well, because like that's what they try to do is be best friends with you, which is so
literally, yeah. I couldn't. Ugh, could you imagine? But he was like, "Hey," I was like, "Hey."
No, so he came over and like tried to chit chat, which I'm fine with. Like I was still like interested, so like I'm still trying to play like cool, chill. Again, I don't know what's going on in his life. Actually, I ended up saying this to him that our like fan fiction.
Oh.
What's the word? Like
Our running theory.
Yeah. Our theory was that Nick was like, maybe he has gonorrhea. Maybe he's bleeding from his dick.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't see Francesca like in this state. And hopefully I get to see her Saturday.
He has the clap, trichomoniasis. He's bleeding from his dick. That's the only thing that like he'll have to be like, oh, I had a busy day at work. No, actually, he's like, I can't meet up with her. I'm bleeding from my dick.
And I was like, honestly, that would have been better.
No, that's kind of what I mean. Like,
yeah.
to like tell you that he's bleeding from his dick.
No,
Or
I should
just
never
like
know that. But like people
yeah.
go through things that they might not want to tell me we just met.
Completely. That's why
fine.
I'm like, that's
Nick,
my working theory.
That was our working theory. So then Kyle and James are leaving. He's chatting with me and he's like, hey, like I'm sorry that like I had to cancel. He's like, I just had to go on a really big run on Saturday, which it was Saturday. He's like, I just had to go on a really big run this morning. And I go,
but you canceled on me on Thursday.
I go, that was 2 days later. And in my head, I'm like, why is he telling me this? He's like, yeah, I just like knew that I wanted to go on a long run. He's not training for a marathon that I know of because I feel like he would have said that.
Yeah.
He told a few of my friends, like when we were there, they were like, no, like he told me he went on a run that morning too. And I was like,
14-mile run, which like, it's not that long.
No, it's not.
Right?
No.
I mean, I've ran a 13-mile one.
My background is track. My background is running. Running is something that I'm like better at than other people.
I just like.
Well, he tried to tell me like he was busy. And then I think I said something like, I'm absolutely busier than you.
I know.
Which is not, if I was like really interested in a guy, I would like stay in my feminine. I wouldn't try to one up them. I wouldn't care. But like when he told me that he canceled 2 days before, when he made the date 24 hours before, because he like wanted to go on a long run, I was like, oh, I'm out. You're telling me that an elective leisurely run on a Saturday is more important than a date with me?
Completely. When he's the one that made the date with you. It's like, it's fine if he like didn't make the date with you and because he knew he had that run coming up, but like the fucking run also like, oh, like I have to feed my pet goldfish. Like I literally like.
It's like you knew it was there. So why'd you ask me?
And also it's 2 days later.
Here's another thing. And this is, okay, so once I decided I had the ick, which I will say, he and I hopefully are friends after this. Like if he can take a joke and if he's like funny and like gets it, I would love to be friends with him. Like great. Like we have similar friends. Wonderful. If he can't take a joke, he's going to take this as I'm like a psychopath talking about him on my podcast.
Oh, come on.
Which is like fine. I would love to still be friends and like be chill, but like this is what happened. And unless I signed an NDA, like I'm talking about it on my podcast.
Because it's ridiculous. Yeah.
But here's what I want to tell all the men who listen to our podcast. When you ask a girl on a first date, not like a random girl from Hinge, not a girl you've never like met. Sure. I know like in the world of like online dating, which I don't do, but I know that like you might have a few dates a week and whatever, and you might cancel because you're busy and fine. But we already like built a rapport. And this was kind of like, we spent a whole night together.
Yeah.
This is our one-on-one. I was very excited. So like, if you're a girl, you're getting a spray tan. You're not eating the night before. You are getting your nails done.
Yeah.
You are sending outfits in the group chat to all your friends of what you want to wear. Like, what's the best impression? What's the cutest? Like, it's just like your whole day. And I don't care if this is like not cool. This is just real. This is what girls do before a first date that they're very excited about. So like, and we already know, to my stupidity, reorganized a dinner with my manager. So stupid. Cancels the day before, but then to tell me in person that it was for a run, an elective leisure run, 2 days later, I was just like,
I wish you would have told me you were bleeding from your dick.
No, literally, like, God, it wasn't dick blood. Like, that's not what we're dealing with. Like, oh shit.
I would accept you for your dick blood.
I would. So then so he just like kept continuing to like tell me how much his like feet hurt. He was like, man, I can't even believe that I made it to Red Rocks tonight after how much I ran. And like, I have an ex who that was like, I would say that was our main conversation was his workouts for the day. So I will say that that's a little bit of my past and a little bit triggered from the narcissism, which do not think that this new man is a narcissist or anything. But I'm just saying it triggered me because I'm like, no woman cares. Any man who's on a new date with a girl, don't tell her about your workout regimen. Like they don't care.
Yeah. I know you might think that it's like sexy and hot to them because like you take care of yourself. No, that's not what's happening.
So he was like, oh, my legs hurt so bad. My calves, like you don't understand. And like I was wearing, they're basically sculptures. I have these shoes from BCBG from like 8 years ago that are like 7 inches, this sculpted heel. I wore them to Red Rocks. So I hiked like a mile or two up a mountain, danced all night, then hiked down the mountain. And like I was in pain. But I feel like women have a higher pain tolerance.
No, they do.
If he saw
That's a
me,
fact.
I would have, yeah, no, it is a fact. But I would have never been like, you don't understand. I hiked in these shoes because I chose to. It's no one else's business and they just don't care. So like, I don't need to tell anyone how much my feet hurt. It was like, I chose to wear these for the vibe and for the outfit. No one cares that my legs hurt. They can't feel it. This is like a big thing our dad tells us is that like, he says like your problems are interesting, but mine are serious.
Yeah.
Not like my dad's are, but it's just any human, they'll listen to your problems, but they don't really care unless there's someone so close to you. So it's kind of interesting to hear your problems, but then like their problems are so serious. So you need to realize that with every other human in your life, your problems are interesting, mine are serious, and just clock that. My mom cares about if I was sad earlier today, but like no one else does, really.
Yeah.
So like when he was saying that, I was like, oh, Christian. So when he was saying that, I was just like, babe, have you seen these shoes? I hiked up Red Rocks. I am in so much pain. Am I gonna go dance tonight? Am I gonna hang out? Like, yes, but like that's not what I want to like sit here and talk about.
Yeah.
And then well, I'm really dragging this out, but there's just a lot of little data points. He was like, well, you don't understand, like health is like a very important value to me. Great. Health is one of my most important values. Sometimes I believe in seasons. Sometimes I'm drinking a little more. Sometimes I'm not working out as much. Sometimes I am more. But health, I'm not being a detriment to your health value because you were going to go out with me on Thursday. Like, don't put that on me.
I know. That's what's so weird about it. Like, well, you're not being a detriment to his health routine because he asked you out. You know, that's what's so weird to me. Is like, oh, like.
No, so then he was like, well, Francesca, you know that if we went out, because when he asked me out, it wasn't even a full dinner. He said, I'd love to split a bottle of wine with you. I'm like, great, cute. Like easy to go do for like an hour because I figured I'd meet up with you and Kyla afterwards.
Right.
But he was like, well, you know, like, he's like, I just didn't want to like get drunk. And I was like, I wouldn't have. Like splitting a bottle of wine is 2 glasses.
Yeah.
So I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, well, you know, we wouldn't have just had 1 bottle. And I was like, I actually had like a venture capital client at 9:00 in the morning. So it's so funny. Maybe in your schedule, you have time to get drunk on a Thursday and miss your run on a Saturday. But like, I don't. Right. I can't show up to pitching a new VC client hungover.
Right.
Could you imagine? I would never, I just like in my vicinity, like of life, like I just would never do that. I would love to meet up with them for 2 glasses of wine, say goodnight and say, I can't wait to see you Saturday. I have a big meeting in the morning.
Yeah.
But maybe your job like isn't as serious.
Yeah.
Because he was like, oh no, we would have had a few bottles. Well, then clearly your job isn't as serious.
Bottles.
As
yeah.
So,
I mean, I probably would have. If you're on a date with me.
Yeah, but like you didn't have that meeting.
No, exactly.
You wouldn't have shown up to pitch like Ryan Heckman.
No.
Hungover.
No, I would never would. Yeah.
He would be fine with it.
Yeah. That'd be true.
Anyway, so that's my story, and those are my tidbits. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I feel like I've been really observant of like dating and men and like what people do, just because like I am cool with all, like I'm great friends with all the hottest girls in Denver, and it's just fun to like see how men act. And I'm like, you know what? Here's an example of what not to do.
Yeah, it's just silly. Wait, to bring up the unhinged thing is I'm wearing a shirt that I wore home like 2 weekends ago. I go, Nick, should I wear that shirt on the podcast? He goes, that's insane. And I go, I was like, but it's so like funny. And if you can get my humor and like think it's funny, then like we can be friends. If not, he'll tell everyone I'm crazy. But the only crazy thing would be if I was still trying to date him, texting him, like trying to pursue him. Like I'm not, but like
might be my shirt now too, you know?
Well, our dad's a rugby player. That was another thing we connected on. He played rugby.
Yeah. Well,
and that was like, I was like, damn, like a rugby player? Like how did I get, yeah. But this is my shirt now.
My shirt.
I'm just kidding. I'll give it back if you really want it.
All right. So speaking of men, like ways men should act, I guess. Maybe. I don't know if I agree with that one. But you had been getting calls from a jail.
Every day. The Missouri Department of Corrections has been calling me every day. And I, to be honest, just have either like been in meetings or just haven't like answered it.
Yeah.
So the other day I finally answered it. And I didn't hear the name. Like they say the name before you like accept the collect call. I don't think collect calls or anything. It was like, I think the government pays for it now because it was like, this is a free call from the Missouri Department of Collections if you want to accept it.
Right.
And then you say yes and accept it. And I didn't hear because it's like a voice recording of the name. And I was like, do I have like an ex? I went to college in Missouri and we're from Missouri. So I was like, do I have like an ex-boyfriend who has my number memorized like in Missouri?
Calling you from jail?
Yeah.
You're the only one for me.
And so I answered and he was like, hello? And I could tell I didn't recognize his voice. And I was like, hey, I think you have the wrong number. And he was like, damn, like I think I do too. Like upon hearing my voice. And I was like, this is Francesca Piazza.
Out here giving people in jail her full name. Like,
no, as I like told Nick this story, he was like, did you give him your social? Like
why? Why did you do that?
I don't know.
Francesca Piazza?
Social Security. And like, I don't know. But I was like, this is Francesca Piazza. And he goes, damn, did I call a Mexican restaurant?
Which honestly is so, I don't know. I mean, it's not like an insult, but I don't know why that's just the funniest thing in the world to
no,
me.
It kind of does because piazza means like plaza. Yeah. And I could see that it sounds like, oh, Francesca's Piazza.
Francesca's Piazza. 2 for 1 chimichangas.
100%.
Yeah. Sounds delicious, by the way, a chimichanga.
And I was like, no. That's like just my name. I'm Italian. Again, more information. And I was like, no, like I live in Denver now.
Again, with the just giving away your personal information to a man in jail.
And he was like, damn. He goes, I don't know anyone in Denver. And I was like, no, like I've just seen that you've called me like every day for 2 weeks. So like.
Do you want to get to know someone in Denver? Like, where is this going? This isn't like some Love is Blind moment. He's in jail, Francesca. Yeah.
I know. But then he was like, I am so sorry for bothering you.
Wow.
And he was like, thank you so much for answering and like letting me know. And I was like, no, like, I hope that you find who you're trying to reach. And he was like, man, thank you so much. And again, so sorry for bothering you. And click. Like he wasn't trying to keep the conversation going.
He felt bad. Wasting your time.
Yeah, legitimately.
Yeah.
Felt terrible for wasting my time. Then I came out of my bedroom and I go, Nick, why are the men in jail? Like
in the middle of Missouri.
Valuing my time more than like the men that have asked me on dates.
In Denver. It's actually a question that we should wrestle with as a society. I'm
like justice for, I don't know his name, but like justice for him. I hope he gets out. Like, I feel like he deserves good behavior. Like he legitimately was so considerate of my time.
Should we find him? Should we hunt him down? Maybe this is the meet cute you've always wanted, you know?
Like a full Gypsy Rose moment.
Yeah.
That's sick.
But I mean, I could see it.
Actually, but like, good for him. Like, I've never met a more polite person. And he's currently incarcerated.
He doesn't have to be nice to you. He's
No.
got bigger fish to fry.
He'd be like, "Fuck you, bitch!" Like,
Yeah,
it doesn't, he doesn't
literally.
know.
Yeah.
We'll never know who each other is.
And like his dedication of calling you over and over again.
Yeah,
It's a man
but
that's serious
he was
about
like so
commitment.
embarrassed.
Yeah.
Not the man who made a date with me and canceled it. He wasn't embarrassed at all.
He was going for a run, Francesca.
I know.
But, do they go running in jail? Like around the track?
I don't know if their tracks are that big.
I don't know anything about that.
Don't
Have
wanna
you
know.
seen the videos on TikTok where it's like the inmates are calling and they give a little description of themselves and they're looking for a pen pal? It's like, hey, it's Mike. I'm in Iowa County. And yeah, I really like music. I'm gonna be out of here soon, but just looking for a little pen pal. And some of them are extremely hot.
No, I have not seen that.
Oh, really? Is that just me on Inmate TikTok?
Yeah.
Inmate Thirst Trap TikTok? Oh.
Wow.
You know-
that is so anyone's For You page and TikTok says so much about them.
You're really not on that one? Is that just
Never seen it once.
okay? Maybe I'm just like exposing myself of like things I deeply
100%.
want.
It's like when older men tell me that it's just little girls dancing on TikTok and that's why they don't get it. And I'm like, here's the thing. No, that's what meant.
I
like,
know.
I've had a few older men say that. And I'm like, that's so funny because I don't have any little girls dancing on my TikTok. Not even one. I follow the D'Amelios. I follow the dancing girls and they don't show up on my For You page because I swipe next because I'm not interested. If you stay and watch it, TikTok shows you more.
Wait, one time I was sitting there watching someone's TikTok with them because it was an older gentleman. And it was like he scrolled and it was some like Brazilian baddie. It was just like a big fat ass, like jiggling it all around, like twerking. And he goes, I have no idea what that was. And I was like, yeah.
Actually, I will say I've been on a
Me
date
neither.
before. And we did a thing where we were like, gonna swipe 5 times on each of our TikTok and see what we're into. It says so much about a person.
Like, really intimate and brave.
Yeah. My TikTok would be girls like talking about men, maybe makeup videos, conspiracy theories, comedy, like obviously there's like random stuff too because it's like what's popular on the For You page, but for the most part, like you would know what I'm into from 5 swipes.
Yeah. You know, mine is astrology,
Okay.
traveling, hot hairy gay men doing things, not like bad things, like just hot hairy men. Just
like chopping wood.
Like literally chopping wood. Oh, there's a lot of chopping wood. Yeah, honestly. It's not just Bradley. Everyone knows Bradley. But
Bradley Thorin.
Yeah. Thorin Bradley.
Is his first name Thorin?
Thorin, yeah.
Last name Bradley?
I think so.
Sneaky. He could take off his belt in one swoop. See, he's shown up on mine. I follow him on Instagram.
Everyone loves him. Even the gays, the gals, the straight, even the straights love him. Like he is just like loved by all. But yeah, and then like, I do get a lot of like crime, murder, mystery, but it's always like more deranged.
Mine will be like alien abduction stories.
Oh, okay, no.
Because it's all like conspiracy, like funky, like scary.
Yeah.
I
did watch this whole like 30-minute thing about these guys and they got sucked into an oil pipe. They were doing like work. And then it got like sucked in like one of those like crazy disasters, and only one survived out of the 6. I was crying, and I was like, "All right, I should log off TikTok."
But do you see how you?
Yeah.
So that you guys, this is the trick. If you ever want to know the person that you're starting to date, say, "Let's do 5-10 swipes, just each, just a For You page, just a little swippity swipe."
Don't go through their messages. Go through their TikTok.
Yeah, ask them like, "Let's do it," because it was funny because I'd be like, "Oh, like I'm into that," or like, "What the fuck are you watching?"
Yeah.
It was like it's honestly cute date idea.
We should make a TikTok about that. Cute date idea. All right, well,
we gotta go pick up this TV or it's getting dropped off.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you for being here. It's so good to connect.
No, this is how I feel connected to our friends, to our family,
I know,
to the other Sibs. We still gotta name the Saucy Sibs, the people who follow.
The siblings. That's why
I don't think it fits.
Hey,
the
Sibs,
other siblings, other Sibs. Let me know if you guys have any. Respond on Instagram or TikTok of like who are our followers? Like, what do we call you? It's like Alex Earl just came out and called them the Earl Girls.
I want to cry.
I don't like it. So Giggly Squad, they call them the
Girl.
Gigglers.
Love that.
And every time Hannah starts an episode, she says it with a G word and then the Gigglers. She'll be like, hello, my galactic Gigglers. Or like, hello, my Met Gala Gigglers. Or just whatever like they're talking about that day. She like
that's good.
It's cute.
So creative.
But we
hello,
don't really
my foster siblings that I've never met until just now. And we didn't even realize that we had a lost connection.
Yeah.
Welcome. It's nice to meet you.
Or like, welcome to the closet. My closet dwellers, it's something with like siblings, something in the family, something with the little.
Hello, my skeletons in the closet.
Yeah.
We'll work on it.
Skeletons. Yeah, we'll work on that.
Yeah.
We're going to go to improv class.
Oh, yeah, we're doing improv
Thursday.
again. Yeah.
So cheers. Thank you for being along for the ride. And can't wait to tell you more of our embarrassing moments soon.
Bye.
We love you. Bye.